The narrative around it has been, it's bad, it's dirty, don't touch it, stay away from the river.
It went from being a source of sustenance and life and community development to being waste disposal systems.
We used the river. It was simply a utility by which we could survive economically and live conveniently.
In Indianapolis, as well as about 105 other cities and towns in Indiana, part of our sanitary sewer system is a combined system. That set of pipes carries both sanitary flow and storm flow. The system was actually engineered originally to overflow to the river system itself. So up to about 60 times a year when it rains, we contribute combined sewage to the river system. I'm not as pale as some of those guys that spend 8 and 10 hours a day in the tunnel system, but yeah, my work has been in the underground world for my career. The Dig Indy program consists of a 28-mile-long network of 6 deep interconnected rock tunnels, and in essence, it's a great big giant underground holding tank. In the future, the system is designed such that we will intercept that flow before it gets to the river, and then we will drop it down into the tunnel where it will be stored until the rain event is over and the plant and the pipes have capacity, and then we'll pump it all out and treat it just like we would any sanitary sewage. It can hold, on any given rain event, has a capacity of 270 million gallons when it's finished. If there was going to be a CSO overflow, 45 to 60 a year roughly, we're going to cut that number down to about 1 or 2. What does that mean to the river system and primarily the White River system? It means that the CSO abatement work will prevent about 5 billion to 5.5 billion gallons a year on average from getting into the waterways. So from an environmental standpoint, that's massive, especially for the health of the White River. We're expecting to see some very interesting change and growth once the system is online. There's a lot of possibilities of what a clean, viable river system through downtown could mean to Indianapolis.
Its water quality, its natural functioning as habitat.
A healthy ecosystem lends itself to a healthier population.
You know, we're going to consume some of the products of the natural world, but we need to do it in a sustainable way that it will support future generations, not just the current generations.
When we set the right policy, we can protect those resources, and then the resources serve all of us. Amongst the not-for-profit organizations in central Indiana that work on the river, you could see it as a division of labor, where we're working on different aspects of protecting and engaging with the river.
People need to live in harmony with the river. Rivers are reflections of what happens on the land.
I grew up in northern Indiana, so my best memories were we had a house on the lake for a few years, which was really great. But we always went camping and there was always water involved, you know, and swimming and fishing. It was just part of life, and so it just makes a difference for the feel of a place, I think. The river right behind our house is a really great place to kind of settle and hear your thoughts, and so that's a huge source of inspiration for me. I do a lot of nature. My favorite thing to draw are like flowers and leaves and trees and, you know, just natural stuff that seems to work its way into almost every single one of my pieces. When I can start to hear my own self think, and I can start to just notice things I wouldn't notice in daily busy life. The river can be unpredictable and sometimes scary, but we always talk about how we respect the river. My daughter, her confidence has grown so much because of the river, It can be big and scary and bold and fierce, and it can also be gentle and sweet and soft. I think the more nature people get, the calmer people are, and the more thoughtful. People can get stuck in these ruts of efficiency. They can just worry about how their life is efficient. Am I efficiently doing my work? What's a system I can put in place for this and that? I think that it would be good to just think about that, like to think about not how to live life, but why to live life.
If you manipulate a material with truly a hand tool, just a hammer and a tool, the movement of the tool, the marks that you leave are much more erratic. There's an eccentricity of line that takes place that is energized by that eccentricity. I like to do public work, to have a conversation with people out in the world that might not normally go to museums or galleries. I also like to draw together these reference points of who we are and where we live and what we're all about. I've done a variety of projects within Indianapolis. 3 of those projects have drawn references to the White River. The water is the lifeblood of any given area. The state of Indiana is defined within what I did by the waterways. Through the middle of it, through the heart of the state, is the White River, of course. I wanted to attempt to bring forward that this land was all occupied by Native Americans way before we had White River Gardens and airports and highways and so forth. I think that that idea about the lifeblood of the land is ignored, and hence, historically in recent times is the reason for pollution. The lack of understanding of the finite nature of nature is ignorance. I mean, it's there for us to enjoy it, but not exploit it. I really believe that for an artist, art is a verb, it's an activity, and that it's about a lot more than making things pretty. I think that it's an intellectual pursuit. If there's any time that I can cause a few people to think about things, I think that that gives that piece that much more voice.
There's this long history of auto manufacturing, but most recently, I guess if you want to call the 30s and 40s recently, Chevy took over and it became the GM stamping plant site till the plant closed down in 2011. Ambrose Property Group bid on the site, finally closed on the property in March of 2018. Our vision is to have a multi-use development. So really it's kind of expanding what we know as downtown by an additional 15 or 16 blocks. Everything from a residential component, commercial properties, green space, a neighborhood center, retail, all of that is what we've got planned for this site. So it's in this kind of weird spot where we've made the river a barrier or the edge of downtown, and so we're hoping with this site the river kind of becomes the middle of downtown. We don't realize the opportunity or the asset that we have, and in our downtown, and with 100 acres of blank space right next to it. It's incredible.
I think cities developed in such a way that they turned their backs on the river. The flip side is that we also are fortunate to have all of this sort of green space and sort of less developed land with all of this parkland and all the trailways that we have along the river. So I think we're striking a pretty good balance here. Riverside Park with all of its components is larger than Central Park in New York City. The master plan is a lofty one, adding more sports facilities, natural activities, more cycling, maybe some urban farming. There's a real sense of pride to being connected to this place for folks who are from here or who live here now. It's really amazing. And that was the best part, is then working with all these partners and neighbors and community folks to really dream big. I mean, to have this large of a park, this close to downtown, this has the potential to be our central park. They really, they put a big dream together for this park, and it's pretty awesome.
We're really just coming out here, fixing up the community and stuff, picking up a lot of trash, a lot of litter and stuff, and basically just cutting out unwanted plants, you know, weeds, poison ivy, stuff like that. So yeah, we're just trying to make it a cleaner place for people to come. I used to get in trouble a lot, and that basically was what I was doing all year last year. But now, with this, I'm staying out of trouble. My stepdad, me and him had a long talk about it. This is actually a couple months ago where we had this talk, and he just told me to just get out here and do better. And now that he's passed away, basically just want to do this for him. I want to do this for him, you know what I'm saying? So, yeah.
We affectionately call this pollinator garden the outdoor living room. We have chosen to landscape with native plants, a couple hundred shrubs and grasses and other things that care for the world around us. Our landscape reflects that value, and of course we try to share that value with others. "17 steps from the foot of my drive is White River." I think we are naturally, primally, instinctually drawn to the water. I do a lot, and I need to be a little more, and so the river helps me do that. My hope is that with my life and with this place and where we've chosen to live, that we can truly support life, that we can do whatever we can here along the river to be a life-giving force. You know, life is not easy, and so I see the bright side, and I can hope for and act towards what's possible. Beauty is something I think most people need, even if they're not aware of it. I suspect everybody needs it.
It ties to, you know, the heart of the state, the heart of the area. It is part of the anatomy of this land.
There's a real value in immersing yourself in this kind of environment. I mean, there's just something about being near water, being on water, just sitting and staring at water that is so calming and so disconnecting, and people are desperate for that. They're desperate for that feeling.
It's all there and goes unnoticed almost all of the time unless you quiet yourself and go pay attention.
A lot of times you hear, we don't have mountains, we don't have oceans, we don't have lakes. Here we have this asset, this wonderful waterway right through the heart of downtown, and it's not really developed.
There's no question that the river is becoming. We can think progressively about the water, and we can think about it sustainably. I really believe and see and experience that that's possible. I understand that human beings can be extremely destructive. I'm optimistic because I see progress. I can realize some of that. I'll never realize all of it. And I'm optimistic because I choose to be optimistic.
There is this large proponent of human beings that really want to do the right thing, whatever that may be, that really want to make things better. We need to be wise about our use of this world rather than take for granted that it's ours to do with.
I guess my sense of progress is that you are either shaping the future or you're letting the future happen to you.